Hello Steelers, welcome to another bench report. A hobby update this week. It's been quite a busy week, but it's mostly been gaming, which I will get to because I've had a week off work, so I've been filming a lot of videos, or trying to film a lot of videos to create some backlog that I can release over the next few months or so. Don't expect any of these to be coming out anytime soon, but I'll talk about those in a second. First of all though, the only thing that I managed to get painted this week were some Prussian Cavalry. This again from the Prussian starter set, Blucher's starter set from Warlord Games that I'm slowly working through. I've already done some Landwehr Cavalry, but this is the line cavalry. So this is the 3rd Cavalry Hussars, 3rd Cavalry Regiment of Hussars. These are the Brandenburg Hussars. You can also see the guys in green at the back there. That's the Jaegers. I think there was only a small squadron of these, but I've basically added them in as well. So what I can do there is I can basically either put those in and create a larger cavalry force, or take them out and just create a normal sized cavalry force. So I could also potentially use them on their own as well, just as a little bit of an interesting small tiny unit. So I could do quite a bit with those, really, just that, and I'm again just carry on working through those. I'll probably do some more cavalry. There's not a huge amount of cavalry actually in that box, so I'm going to probably finish some of those off pretty soon. I think there's dragoons and there's also some lancers as well in there, but obviously as well they got the Landwehr Cavalry, so there's going to be a lot of those that I'm going to have to churn out at some point. But I might turn my eyes back to some cavalry over the next few weeks and just get them finished as well. So as I said, this week I've actually had off work and also next week as well. As always, I'm recording this on Friday, so everything kind of falls into that. I might do some more gaming later on today, or some more filming. I did actually manage to get a game of Men of Company B filmed and played earlier this week. This is the Peter Pig Vietnam game, which is really good. I played it down at the club before, and then played this as a solo game. It was the VC version of it. There's a few different versions in the rules themselves. This was basically a search and destroy mission for the US. They had to work their way through several villages, find some caches, either capture them or destroy them. I'll not tell you how it turned out, but it was an interesting game, and it is a very interesting game. It's laid on a smallish grid table and only with a few figures as well, so actually it's quite a manageable game. It's well worth getting into. I've also recorded a review as well, because I know a couple of people were asking about a review of the game, so look out for that coming out at some point in future. I really do enjoy it. It's a really nice alternative to other Vietnam games as well, and some really nice little mechanics in there. But check that out at some point in future once I've edited it. It's a really big video actually at the moment, because there's there was lots of shooting, so I'm taking a while editing it down. But we will get there in the end. I also went back to Chain of Command 2 as well this week. And on Thursday, yesterday, as I record this, I re-recorded or revisited the ambush Wolfheze scenario. I played this before. There is a video of this. There is a video that I recorded a while back. It is a scenario that Lardy Nick had written for the WSS magazine. I think it's 116, so you can go and buy a PDF of that. It's a really interesting scenario where British paratroopers in their jeeps have to get off the road to Arnhem, but they've been ambushed by German soldiers. So this was again a revisit of that particular scenario, because one, I think in the first time round I probably, I didn't play the British as better than I could, and also the fact that Chain of Command 2 is out now means that there's quite a lot more dynamic stuff going on in the game itself anyway, so it kind of works just to revisit it. I don't always like revisiting scenarios, but this one in particular was quite interesting, so I thought I would. And again, that needs to be edited obviously at this point, and it also needs to be sorted out, but that will be coming out at some point in future, so look out for that as well. And then speaking just of games, on Thursday night, last night, I popped down to Patriot Games, met up with Dex and Steve. Steve had never been down to Patriot Games, didn't even know it existed. So the first time for everything. But we basically played a game of Chain of Command 2 again. This was based on the Soviet invasion of Manchuria in September of 1945. I'd suggested it to Dex a couple of weeks ago simply because I'd finished reading Reign of Ruin by Richard Overy, which is the book I got for Christmas about the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and also the fire bombings of Tokyo and other Japanese cities in 44-45. It talked in there quite a lot about the Soviet invasion of Manchuria, and of course, I mean, I knew about it, but I kind of just forgotten about it. It was kind of just at the back, you know, it had gone to the back of my mind. So I thought that would actually make quite an interesting matchup, because the games that we've been playing a lot for Chain of Command in the Far East with the Japanese have always either been against the British or the Indians or Australians. You know, we've yet to go into the Pacific, but I've played a few Pacific games in the past. But you know, it's always those kind of games where the Japanese are always up against, in inverted commas, the Western allies, whereas this will be something quite interesting. You know, having T-34s on the table up against Japanese infantry was quite an interesting mix on it. So Dex brought all his stuff down, so this is all Dex's stuff. I provided the fields, but that's it. The rest of it is all Dex's. And basically we had a late war Japanese unit fighting against a late war Soviet unit, supported by a couple of tanks, tank destroyers, Su-76 and T-34. Steve and I were playing the Japanese, and we elected to leave off the 37mm anti-tank gun, which was given as a potential support option, but we instead decided to use ruses. We went for 2 ruses. In the end, we only actually used one of them anyway, which was a banzai charge, which basically knocked Dex. It put him. I think it didn't destroy his unit that we attacked. In fact, we actually lost it despite attacking with 2 sections against about 8 men. But because he was basically armed to the teeth with PPSH 41s and LMGs, he gave us some real hammer, and they held their position. But it was interesting to use a different ruse. I'm more used to the early war ruses, so a later war one like the banzai charge, which despite everybody saying, oh, the banzai, you know, play the Japanese, they're always banzai, they don't. They do it later in the war. It's more like a suicidal attack. But we tried to do a banzai charge with 2 sections, but we got bounced back. He then also did assault deployment, put another SMG armed unit next to right on our flank after capturing one of our jump off points. So we tried to charge them, not with a banzai charge, just a normal charge, but once again we bounced off again. But because it was an attack on the objective, and the objective within the village in the centre of the table, we actually, as the Japanese, we were able to relatively quickly call for the final countdown. I think Dex's morale was at 9 when we called for it, so it was 9 phases, and if somebody rolled 3 6s in that time, game over. It went into sudden death, but it actually only lasted about 3 or 4 phases after that, until Steve rolled for our command roll, and it was a double 6. And we ended the game there, and we still had possession. The Japanese still had possession of the objective. It was such a tense game, especially when the final countdown kicked in, because Dex had been a bit cagey early on, slowly moving forward, whereas once the final countdown kicked in, it kind of really got him, shook him up, and made him push forward a bit more. But then that's also led to our very desperate defence, and it felt like a 1945 desperate Japanese defence against a relatively overwhelming odds as well. Absolutely brilliant, really enjoyed it. So thanks massively to both Dex and Steve. Dex for putting it on, Steve for being such a good player and rolling loads of 1s, apart from when we didn't need it. So yeah, it was brilliant, really good, just good fun, lots of laughs. And again, Patriot Games are really good. It was full again. A lot of the people down there, quite a lot of youngsters were down there playing 40k and various other fantasy games, and they were taking an interest in what we were doing. So it's a bit of a chance to, you know, proletise about some historical wargaming. So that never hurts, does it? Right, relatively short catch up this time, but I'm going to be painting some more stuff over the week. I've got some things already primed, ready to go. I've got another week off work. I want to record at least another video. I'm thinking of a GDA 2 scenario, possibly based on the rearguard actions at Genappe in the 1815 campaign. So maybe down the long end of a table rather than across the width of the table, so that might be interesting. I'm playing a game with decks as well on Tuesday, and we're not sure what we're playing yet. We've got all day, so it might be a GDA game. Again, just to get our heads around the rules a bit, and just to actually, get a big bite of the cherry of it. And then also on Wednesday, I am going to be going over to the Lincolnshire Aviation Museum. It was my friend's 50th last week. I didn't buy him anything, but I said I'd take him out to the Lincolnshire Aviation Museum because his dad used to be a tail gunner in Lancasters, right at the very end of the Second World War. His dad was quite old when Dave was born, so he just basically clipped the end of the last war, and was, as I say, a tail gunner in Lancasters. And it's where they've got I think it's called Just Jane, the Lancaster, down at the Lincolnshire Aviation Museum. So I said I'd drive us over there, pay for him to get in and have a look around. Unfortunately, well, they do tickets that you can actually get in the Lancaster and look around it, but unfortunately they run out. They stopped in October, so we'll not be able to get in. I might be able to try. I might try and blag it, see if there's any chance we can actually just have a look at the tail seats at least, if nothing else. But we'll see. I'm thinking about taking my camera with me just so I can do a bit of filming of stuff as well, and I might put that out as a video or a short or something at some point in future. So again, look out for that. As always, I will say at this point, thanks for watching, of course. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm closing in on 18,000 subscribers, which is great, and I'd love to get to 20,000 subscribers. I don't think I'll do it by the end of this year, but it'd be nice to do it by early 2026. So please do subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything, it does help out. And also, if you do want to help out financially, you can do the channel memberships, and there's also Patreon as well, all of which are covered in the description down below. You get early access to videos and ad-free access to videos, and your name in the thanks list as well at the end of videos. Unfortunately, I can't really offer much more at this point because I do have a full-time job, so I do try to work around that as much as possible. If I was doing this full-time, I would provide a lot more for members on Patreons, but as it is, that's what I can provide. And if that's something that you'd like, and you'd like to help out the channel, then please check it out. I'm not going to beg you, but it's always appreciated. And I'll say thank you once again for watching, and I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video.